Well, hi there, I'm Dawn of Living by Heart. I am so excited to be here today to inspire you to connect more deeply with God and your family. So today's the day you've been waiting for. We are actually talking practical strategies of self-care. If you haven't already viewed the 2 previous videos on our summer self-care series, be sure to check those out. That's going to really help you to couch your motivation in the right place. We always want to be approaching self-care with an agenda or a motivation of worship. And so if that sounds new to you, you're going to want to check that out and let me know what you think about that. Now, stay tuned to the very end of this video because number 15 is my own personal favorite of how to start my day with an ultimate self-care joy bomb. Enjoy this video and let me know which self-care secret you are going to start with. Okay, so when we talk about specific strategies, let's start with number 1. The first thing that you have to do is obviously pause and consider what it is that you need. We cannot just kind of listlessly go about and think that something's going to minister to us or refresh us or revive us if we don't have an idea of what that might be. So you may have to reflect and say, oh my goodness, what is it that my body needs today? Or what is it that my soul needs? Or what is it that my spirit needs? Or how about my mind? And then really identify what's the need and how can you meet it. So it really does require a pause. And sometimes you can just do that and just breathe by connecting to your breath. Oftentimes I think what you'll find is that you automatically sort of go, what I really need right now is just a cup of coffee, or maybe I need a rest. So number 1 is to actually just connect with yourself, which is kind of what this channel is all about. Living by Heart requires that we connect with our heart. And so that is something that you can do even in your time with Jesus, like I already mentioned. Number 2, of course, is to learn to speak kindly to yourself. And remember, this is your self-care list to bring you more joy. So it's not going to be your standard eat chocolate or indulge in this, although those things are totally appropriate. I want you to be encouraged in terms of how you speak to yourself. Have you ever noticed the negative things that we say to ourselves? Sometimes when I feel like I have a need that comes up, I will actually talk myself out of it in a negative way where I'm like, oh, I'm so tired, I could really use a nap. But inside, I'll disqualify myself from that and be like, why are you so tired? You shouldn't be tired. But of course, the reality is, of course I'm tired. I'm a wife, a mom, a homeschool teacher. I'm a counselor, a therapist. I have a YouTube channel. And so of course it's true and valid, that need inside of me, and I don't need to justify it to myself. So release yourself from justification and speak kindly and graciously to yourself and say, of course I need a break. I have worked hard today and I need to have rest. That's good balance. Number 3, bring a friend flowers for no reason. This one brings me so much joy because I just love it when I can get out of myself. Sometimes I feel like so much of our world is just me, right? Like we're just so focused on meeting our goals or even our self-care routine or our families, of course, and our kids. But it's really fun to imagine the girlfriend in your life who actually could use a tremendous amount of encouragement and just either bring her flowers or send the flowers. Something about this act of service actually brings me a ton of joy. I feel like it's really true to who I am. I'm an authentic lover of people. I love to bless people and I love to imagine her face when she gets those. And I added it to our self-care routine to bring us joy because gifting other people with those moments of feeling loved and special is seriously such a joy bomb for me. So I hope you give that one a try. Number 4, savor a fun beverage. How many times do we just kind of like glug something down and then move on to the next thing? So I want to encourage you to pick, first of all, you got to pause, connect to yourself and be like, what is the beverage that I'm craving the most? And then I really want you to just savor it. Let the flavors just like roll around and enjoy them and savor the moment. And I don't know about you, sometimes I like to do that when there's silence or quiet because I live in an especially noisy household. But if you have kind of what I have, you might crave the silence. Sometimes people really don't mind because they're not surrounded by chaos all the time like I feel like I am in my household. So definitely learning to savor whatever that looks like for you. And sometimes I like to do it in a beautiful place, like on my deck or on my front porch, or of course out with a friend, but that's a different number of our self-care list. So we'll come back to that one. The next one you might kind of think is a little bit funny. I love to clean one shelf or one drawer as an act of self-care. And you're gonna be like, oh my gosh, Dawn, like this is not a minimalism video. go, I know, but I actually happen to think that minimalism is an act of self-care because it brings my environment into a place of peace. And so I feel like also it gifts me with this like feeling of accomplishment. So you're probably going to hear this a lot from me, that like just breaking things down into the small check off the box kind of thing really helps me when I come to a place of like, I just want to get something done. I probably can't declutter my entire kitchen, but I can do one drawer or one cabinet or one linen like shelf in my linen closet. That is no problem. And so I think just having that like realistic goal where we set a timer on our phone for 15 minutes, we clean one shelf or one drawer, and then we have this amazing feeling that washes over us like, look what I got done today. Aren't I amazing? And so it really is an act of self-care. And next time you go into that shelf or drawer, you're going to be able to find exactly what you're looking for. And that is also loving yourself well. All right, what do we have left? Lighting a candle. Well, this one is so simple, but if you're like me, I am kind of a candle addict. I love setting like the atmosphere in my home. It's currently like over 100 degrees, and so I'm probably not gonna light a candle because the thought of fire is really a turn off at the moment. But I would say like in the fall here in Minnesota, we have crisp falls and obviously frigid winters. This is when I find that I just want that warmth and cozy feeling of lighting a candle. And sometimes I'll do it in summer, of course, if I'm doing some quiet time, or also if I'm just feeling like I want a little bit of serenity around me. It's a simple, easy, affordable act that I think can bring so much to our environment. Writing an affirmation on your mirror is number 7. And this one, I don't think a lot of people know about this hot tip, that when you take a dry erase marker and you go to your mirror, you can write on there and it's gonna come off just fine. And so I will oftentimes just write things that I need to remember on my mirror. Sometimes I'll do like a Bible verse that I'm trying to remember or memorize or commit to like heart memory. But I also love writing an affirmation on the mirror, and it can be something simple. I know this feels a little bit cheesy, but there is something about writing the words and then reading them out loud is what I would say to you as your therapist friend, to really be able to say these things out loud. So if it says you are beautiful, or you bring joy to the world, or you are full of joy and peace. You know, these kinds of affirmations can be amazing. You know, these things connect us to our purpose, our destiny, our worth, and our value. And that is something that it brings joy to our soul because it connects us to the core of who we are. And that's what this list is about, is really getting you connected to your own heart and honoring your own heart so that you can feel the joy as you go throughout your day. Walking. There's something about walking, the repetitiveness. This is number 8. When you're walking, you can consider 2 things. One would be to walk in silence. Once again, I find that silence is a pretty rare commodity these days for me. I am constantly feeling barraged by the noise of the kids or social media or just noise of life. And so if it appeals to you to have that silence, I would encourage you to honor it. Some people have a hard time with silence because a lot of uncomfortable things come up. That's a different video, but you know, just take notice of that if that's your experience. Sometimes having the silence really allows us to just connect with ourselves, connect with God. I would also say to look up. There is actual research to suggest that close work, like when we're writing or we're doing anything that requires like that close up eye focus, that when we alternate it with looking up, it's actually super healthy for our brains and our learning because it just changes our perspective, right? And so the sky is so beautiful. And sometimes I find that I'm chugging through my whole day and I might even be walking the dog, but I forget to look up. And there's this feeling of majesty that comes when we actually take the time to look up and to say to ourselves, wow, the world is so big and I'm so small. And it connects us again with that feeling of God is so big and he's got everything under control, and I am here just under the umbrella of his care. And there's something about that physical experience of walking and acknowledging that can be super powerful. Number 9 is to soak. So if you are not familiar with the concept of soaking with God, I would highly encourage you to give it a try. It is one of my favorite ways to just rest in the presence of God. And what it entails, I think you're gonna like it, is just laying on the ground. So if you can lay on the ground, you've got this totally licked. So what I do personally, and you can do this with any sort of music that you like, I like to put on some Christian worship music and I just lay on the ground and I literally like turn palms up and I just sort of like lay there and just enjoy the music. I close my eyes, I just let my whole body relax and sink into the floor, and I really like put myself in this position simply because I want to be in a receiving posture. I don't want to be in like a doing posture. I want to be in a receiving place. And so as I lay there, I try to force myself to just not be busy in my mind. I try to just focus my mind either on the lyrics that are being sung or the melody that's being sung, or I sometimes just focus on God, or I might just lay there. It's just really amazing the things that you can feel and sense and awaken to from God to your heart during those times of soaking. And I never have left a soaking time not refreshed. So I encourage you to give it a try if you have not soaked before. Number 10 on our list to bring you joy is to journal your gratitude. I think you guys know, having a gratitude journal, there's lots and lots of research to suggest that when you have kind of a daily practice of gratitude, that it actually brings you a ton of joy in your life, because that practice of thankfulness generates just a connection of how blessed we are, what all the things that God has done for us. It just connects us to the joy because we're thankful, and we're focusing on all the things that we do have and not the things that we don't have. Now, 11 on our list is cooking a nourishing meal. I don't know what this is for you. I do believe that cooking healthy food is a great way to love ourselves well and to really honor our bodies for the purpose of fulfilling our destiny on earth as it is in heaven. If I'm eating like junky stuff and I'm running from one thing to another, in fact, I recently had a client tell me that she eats peanut butter, marshmallows, and chocolate chips when she gets home from a 12-hour workday. And we were like, no, this is not good. Not because there's shame in that, but because obviously she needs to be fueled well for the incredible role that she's playing in the world. And so we talked through like what would be more nourishing? How can she set herself up for that? Okay, we're getting close to the one that I've been like kind of leaving as my last punch. The next one, number 12, is heart to heart with your spouse or a good friend. So a heart-to-heart conversation, this means basically what I'm saying is you cannot let this conversation be surfacey. Surfacey talks don't get to the heart. They don't refill us. So I would challenge you to think of someone who you can share your heart with, who you can be super honest and authentic with without feeling judged or any sort of shame or condemnation. When there's that shared vulnerability, that is something that just really generates joy in our life because it creates that deep connection with another person, and we feel known and we feel loved. And you can also do this with the Lord, of course, but sometimes there's something really amazing about having a tangible person there to really give you the grace, even just to listen to you and to feel like, wow, you know, I am normal for feeling that way, or whatever it is that you need to express. That one can be super powerful and have very far-reaching joy bomb consequences. I think number 13, I hope I don't lose you on this one. This is to thank your body for its amazing service. Your body, of course, is this amazing thing that has carried you your entire life. You have been able to accomplish amazing things. Not only does it house the very essence of who you are, which is your spirit, but perhaps you've had children, perhaps you have generated actual human life inside your body. This is so key to be thankful for our bodies, to really be like, thank you, body, for being healthy and for carrying me from place to place and for housing who I am. And when we thank our body, once again, we become more grateful for it and actually filled with more joy around it. And we know that body image is a huge thing for women. And so I would encourage you to just start the process of thankfulness, even if you feel like it's super weird at first and a little bit cheesy. It's another thing you could write on your mirror. This is something that can have really powerful, powerful effects in your life in terms of feeling thankful and comfortable in your own skin. All right, number 14 is an easy one. We're almost to number 15. Read a book for fun. Now this means, some of you are gonna tell me, oh, but I love to read like the self-help books for fun. Okay, I know, but I'm wondering if you could possibly stretch it to fiction. Could you? Could you just try a little fiction? See if you can read a book that doesn't actually have any accomplishment or productivity tied to it. I know, we all love our parenting books and our personal growth books and our faith-based books. I just want to encourage you to just waste time with a good book, because there's something about it, getting lost in the book, that is just truly so life-giving. Okay, drum roll please. My last thing that's gonna bring you a joy bomb in your life is to give yourself the gift of a clean kitchen in the morning. So I come down, our kitchen is downstairs, we have a 2-story, and so when I come down in the morning to pour my coffee, and I'm greeted with counters and counters full of dishes that are drying from the night before, and then the dishwasher is hanging open, waiting to be emptied, I just kind of feel like all the joy just like seep out of me. I intentionally have begun the self-care practice of getting my dishes done and put away the night before, because I really love coming down to a sparkling clean kitchen. There's just something about it. And I would add to that that it again gives us that feeling of accomplishment. Like, look what is already crossed off my list for today. So I hope that this list inspires you to have more joy this summer and to incorporate some of these strategies into your daily life. Even if you just pick a few to get started with, I want to tell you that I believe you are worth it. And I want to hear how it goes for you, so let me know. And if this has been helpful to you, please let me know. Please like this video. Please consider subscribing as well for more tips and inspiration on how to connect more deeply with God and your family.